Morning. Today I'm heading off on a bike ride. Thought I'd take my camera with me just to let you see what the trail's like, how busy it is, how easy it is, whether it's flat, up and down, how many people are on it. So yeah, let's just see how that goes. We're in Waihi, which is a small town just south of the Coromandel Peninsula. We've had a week up in the peninsula and now we've come to a house sit. We're looking after two lovely dogs here, and the rail trail's got a spur that runs off the main sort of route to Waihi, so I thought I'd give that a go while we're here. So we're just looking now at the map of the trail. It's about 250k in total, so it's pretty extensive. Runs basically north to south, and from Pyro there's this spur that runs off to the east to Waihi, which is where I'm going to be starting from. I think it's 28 kilometers from Pyro to Waihi. I'm not going to do the whole of that. I'm going to go just beyond the little sea that you can probably see on there. Just beyond there there's actually some little green squiggles. They, I believe, are some walking tracks in the goldfields that are in the Karangahape or Karangahape, not quite sure, Gorge, which is supposed to be pretty. So that's probably as far as I'll go. It's probably, I don't know, 15-20k, and we'll have a look around there. When I say we, that's me and my bike, and I'll head back after that. So let's go and check this trail out. And just before we get onto the trail itself, I'll do a little bit of a divert. It's almost actually in the center of Waihi. There's a huge pit, open pit, where they've been mining gold for years and years. So Waihi is a gold town. You don't come across many of those, but yeah, this is a gold town. I think probably the mine is probably the biggest contributor economically to the town, and I think it's closed at the moment. They've had a slip, I think, which has stopped them operating, but the plan is to reopen it, and they've got other mines dotted around the place, but this is the sort of biggest, most iconic one. I think I read somewhere it's the biggest open sort of mine pit in the southern hemisphere, which sounds very impressive. So we'll go and have a look at that, and then we'll try and find where this rail trail starts in Waihi and head off down there and have a look at it. I don't know whether you noticed that orange car, sports car that went by. That was a TVR. Reminds me of my brother Mark, who for his sins owned a TVR at one point. In fact, what's amazing is to actually see that TVR working on the road. They're normally stationary in service stations, garages, having work done to them. Okay, let's go up here and see if we can see this big pit. Here it is. Trying to get a sense of scale to help you. I mean, you can see those buildings on the top. It's huge. So now we're just heading down the main drag, shopping street in Waihi. As you can see, it's pretty low-key. Well, we're still cruising around the streets of Waihi. I've seen no signs whatsoever of this rail trail, even though it's supposed to be quite a big tourist attraction. I suppose what I could do is just get my phone out and find out where it starts, but I'm sort of thinking I shouldn't need to. There should be signs, but I think I'm going to give up. Okay, the map's telling me if I turn next right, it should take me down to the old station. And I guess I'm working on the basis that it's fairly safe to assume that if I find the old station, I'm going to find the start of the rail track, but there's no signs. Well, I was just about to give up, and now I've seen a sign for a rail track, so I'm still in with a chance. Where is this rail trail? This can't be it, surely. Oh my goodness. Talk about low-key. All right, here we go. Huh. Well, we're about 5 minutes or so into the trail, and I have to say, not that impressed so far, but it's understandable, I guess. So obviously the idea of a rail trail is that you follow where the railway used to go. Tracks have been taken up, nice smooth flat surface. The problem is this first stretch, they're actually still using the rail tracks. So at the weekend they run a sort of tourist train that runs to this gorge. So the trail at this point is having to sort of meander around. So we've been on a stretch of road so far, and then we went on a bit of pretty narrow gravel where there was a defined path through the middle that bikes had made, and really loose gravel on either side. So of course if you met somebody coming the other way, you finished up in this really loose gravel on the other side. So I mean, I was okay, but I guess if you're not that confident a rider and you're thinking that you're going to do a nice easy rail trail, it might put you off. So you can probably see here the track's got a bit better actually. This is good. So, you know, it's quite wide at this point, and there's a sort of defined, cleared path to cycle on that's pretty smooth on both ways. So this is good, and it's pretty pleasant. Cycling by the river, I can hear the main road over the other side of the river, and it's good to be away from that. So just got to figure out now how far we have to go before we start getting down to the gorge. So I think I mentioned a bit earlier, it's the Sunday of a long holiday weekend, so I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of people in the gorge. There's certainly quite a lot of people cycling and coming the other way. In fact, what's more exhausting than pedaling is actually saying hello to everybody. You get some uber cool people that just go past and don't acknowledge you, and other people where it's a bit of a grunt, and then some other people, hello. I think he was concentrating too hard to say hi. Gets pretty narrow through here. Beautiful though. Sun dappling through the ferns. I think I'm going to get through the narrow section just before somebody else turns up the other way. Oh, maybe not. Hi there. Hi. Hello. Where's the gorge? Hello. Well, I've done just coming up to 13 kilometers now, but 4 or 5 of that was trying to find the start to the trail. Hello! There you go. That was a enthusiastic hello. It's the adults that are the problem. Okay, Karangahape is 7 kilometers. That's still quite a way. Okay. That's a very tortuous little route for the train. That can't be the main train, surely not. So this gorge was an area for gold mining in the past. Oh, I've just remembered. There's I think it's a kilometre long tunnel. And I meant to bring my head torch so that I could get through it. So I might struggle actually. Hopefully I can find somebody that I can follow behind who's got a torch. Gee, there's a lot going on here. This must be where they poured all the rock in that they've excavated to try and separate out the gold. Oh, this is pretty cool. Lots of people here. So from Waihi, I've been steadily dropping down as the river has come down from Waihi. It's pretty flat. So from the looks of it, I've dropped about 40 meters from when I left Waihi, which I've got to go back up on the way back, of course. But it's, apart from a few steep sections, it's pretty steady actually. I'm glad I didn't fall off there in front of everybody. I wobbled a little bit. Ah, this is the tunnel. Right, need to latch on to some people with lights. Yeah, this is beautiful, apart from the busy road. So there's some people walking down there. Not quite sure how you get over there, but let's try the tunnel. Okay. There literally is light at the end of the tunnel. It's a long tunnel. That light doesn't seem to be getting any closer. And it's very cool in here. Thank you. There's actually more people walking than cycling. I think we're getting there. A narrow, busy bridge on the other side. There's no way I can wait. I'm just going to have to go and then stop. Alright, okay. Thank you. You're welcome. Okay, well, I think this is probably the point to turn around. There's a lot of walking tracks go off into the hillside. Actually looks as though you can get up the other side of the river and miss out the tunnel, which I will try and do now, I think. Looks busy. Thank you. On the way back now. That's pretty. Different perspective coming this way. Back from the bike ride now. I actually ran out of battery, which is why things suddenly stopped, but I was on the way back, so you didn't miss too much. That's basically where I went, there and back. Started here in Waihi, headed off down. Ultimately the track goes to Pyroa, but I stopped at the gorge, and in terms of just where that is, so up here we've got the Coromandel Peninsula, so this is where we were a few days ago, up here, and just over here we've got Auckland. So this is like a couple of hours, hour and a half, 2 hours in the car. Yeah, sorry about the abrupt halt to the recording there. As I mentioned, actually ran out of battery power, so had to stop on the way back. Well, I didn't have to stop. I inadvertently stopped. In fact, there was a point at which I thought I was recording when actually I wasn't. So so what happened was I got out of the tunnel. Got to that sort of point where I decided I was going to turn around, and then tried to get up the other side of the river, and I actually finished up amongst all these people that were walking. I didn't see any signs that said no biking, but it was pretty narrow and lots of people. I think they were actually walking tracks. I probably shouldn't have been there on the bike, so I eventually gave up, got off the bike, pushed it. I managed to find a footbridge back across the river onto the road, and I sort of shot back down the main road just a little bit until I got back to where the tunnel came out, and I had to go back through the tunnel, which was fine. And yeah, I thought I was recording some of the walking tracks, but it sort of died on me. So what do I think of the ride? Well, I think it was a good ride. I mean, it was 40k, 40 kilometers there and back. So that's a pretty long distance. I guess if you're a seasoned bike rider, you'd do that in your stride, no problem. But for people that are out there that don't ride too often, that would be a fairly long ride to work through. If you can organise for somebody to pick you up at the end of the ride, then you can do it one way. That would make it considerably easier. The leg I did in total, I think, is about 28k. So if you allow for the 3 or 4k that I spent trying to find the ride, I probably did about 16 to 17 kilometers of that 28. So you could probably do the 28k leg with a modicum of fitness. There were a few areas where it was a bit tricky in terms of getting past other cyclists coming the other way and weaving your way through the people that were walking. You know, it was quite narrow in parts, the track, so that might put a few people off that are a bit sort of less confident on a bike, but I guess you can always stop, get off and push your way around. So and certainly if you are one of the many people now that seem to have electric bikes, then it would be pretty straightforward. The biggest issue would just be that lack of space on certain parts of the track. But yeah, it was a nice, pleasant ride, and hopefully at some point I'll get the opportunity in the future to do some of the other legs.